My pop.
All right, so good morning. We are over in Medford, Massachusetts. We are walking over to the West Medford commuter rail T-stop to take us to North Station. And then from North Station, we will be going to Bunker Hill Community College to do some leafleting, letting students know about the unnecessary suffering of animals on factory farms. And I'm excited because I get to see my friend Alana from Vegan Outreach. You'll see her in a bit. She's a good friend, really good person, and excited to see her on this rainy, drizzly day. But stay tuned. Picking this up, I want to talk about leafleting and some of my thoughts. So, number one, I think leafleting is a great way to raise awareness about the unnecessary suffering of animals on factory farms. Throughout the years, leafleting has always been a primary activity of groups, whether you're advocating for women's rights, whether you're advocating for civil rights, any type of advocacy, leafleting is a great way. And what leafleting is, it's just handing out booklets like this, talking about whatever topic that you are happening to be advocating for. And for the Humane League and many animal advocacy groups, especially Vegan Outreach, that looks like this. But as you can see, I just picked this up off the ground, which is one of the primary issues with leafleting, is that we produce so many booklets and pretty much all of them go in the trash. Granted, they use recycled paper, but it's definitely a problem. So that being said, there are many other options available. There's online ads, there are videos that highlight the unnecessary suffering, and many different ways. But leafleting has been a primary one because it's effective, it's easy. All you need are the booklets, and you can just go to a public area and hand them out. Some studies on leafleting have shown that for every 70 leaflets that are handed out just like this, one person goes vegan or vegetarian. So based on that math alone, leafleting is a very effective activity. And other studies have shown that for every 2 leaflets handed out, 1 animal is spared from a lifetime of suffering. So those are kind of the metrics that we go off of to show why leafleting is important. But, you know, the downsides, all these leaflets end up in the trash. It's hard to really measure the effect of a leaflet other than anecdotal experience where we have someone come up to us months, maybe years later and say, oh, I got one of these booklets, and then have since then gone vegan or vegetarian or whatever. So we definitely have a lot of anecdotes to demonstrate that leafletting is a valuable activity. But in true form of efficacy, we always want to be getting better. We want to try out new things. We want to try out the most effective tactics and focus on those, because ultimately this is about protecting animals and making sure that animals don't end up on factory farms. That's kind of like the background of why we leaflet. Another thing that's good about leafleting is that within the leaflet itself, there's actually a back part where you can text a number and get a free vegan starter guide. So that's really good, because then it shows that people are interested. They'll text a number and then they'll be sent a vegan starter guide. So we do see a lot of people asking for those guides, which, you know, it's definitely worth considering. So right on. So now we were leafleting outside of Community College Stop on the Orange Line here in Boston, and just walking downstairs I picked up 4 booklets that people have dropped. So you can obviously see the problem. See if it'll, here's another one. So one issue with leafleting is that people will just throw these on the ground, you know, or they will get placed, they'll just get left behind, you know. See, we're picking up 1, 2, 3 more. You know, this is a huge issue. So a little bit of trash waste for animals' lives being spared on factory farms. That's up to you to make the decision if that's something you want to support. It's definitely something I want to do, because a little bit of paper waste is nothing compared to the suffering that goes on factory farms. So keep that in mind when you go out to leaflet.
Orange Line train to Forest Hills is now arriving.
Alright, so I just want to share some more thoughts about leafleting. As one who's handed out thousands and thousands and thousands of leaflets, I have met individuals who I see a year later, they thank me for handing them the leaflet, and that it really, you know, set them on their path towards a vegan lifestyle, or at least reducing the amount of meat that they eat. Because when people are exposed to these images, it's really hard to deny the fact that animal cruelty is happening on factory farms, and if you are buying from factory farms, you are complicit in that process. So I think that raising awareness about these issues is extremely, extremely important. The data, the little data that there is, the data suggests that it is effective at getting people to reduce their meat consumption. It's effective at sparing animals from lifetime suffering on factory farms. But the downside is that, you know, all these booklets get thrown away. It's a lot of energy to produce these booklets, and then for them to get thrown in the trash, or them not to get recycled, or they just get thrown on the ground as litter. But ultimately, the benefit to the animals and to the planet that comes from producing the booklets, handing them out, distributing them, is greater than the small amount of litter that gets created as a result of people pitching them. I've known people who pass them on to other friends and family. They will leave them out in a public area, like on their coffee table, so that others can see. And these leaflets do have a very positive impact. So I will still continue to leaflet until there is a more effective way to raise awareness, and when that happens, I will switch over and do that primarily, because ultimately, whether you're leafletting, whether you're doing like iAnimal virtual reality goggles highlighting animal suffering, or giving presentations, you know, this is about the animals and reducing the harm and suffering on factory farms. So I'm very much for leafletting. I would encourage you to get involved, and if you'd like to, go to the Humane League Boston's Facebook page, go to your local area, reach out to Vegan Outreach, they'll send you booklets, meet up with other activists in your area who can go out and do this with you. You know, it's a good bonding experience. You'll meet some cool people on shared values of treating animals with human decency, kindness, and it's just a lot of fun. I had a great time today with Lana. So many people thanked me. One person wanted to get involved. So I encourage you, if you want to help animals, go out, leaflet, get involved, and you can check out Mercy for Animals' Guide to Leafletting for all the proper techniques on how to be the best leafletter you can. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon.